What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be doing a little bit of a chat. It's kind of a real kind of chat. We built a team up in relation to the college football playoffs, the final 4 teams that have qualified for the playoffs: Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, LSU. Before we jump into the video, let me know who you think is actually gonna win it all come January. Do you think it's gonna be Clemson? Do you think it's gonna be Ohio State? Think Oklahoma and Jalen Hurts can get it done? You think LSU, Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner, is going to bring it home back to Baton Rouge? Let me know in the comments who do you think is going to be crowned national champion. But what we did here today was we took the best of the best. We've made an 89 overall squad of players from all 4 teams: Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and LSU. Lots of big-time playmakers. I think it's going to be fairly interesting. We're only going to go 1 year. It's going to be like a 1-year challenge just because, you know, there's no way you could build a roster like this and have any sort of longevity because you're going to be killed with salary cap year 2, year 3. And I just kind of want to say, and plus, and also if you can get year 2, year 3 of the contract, your team's going to be so good that it's just not even going to make any sense. So I wonder if we just took this year all these players from those 4 schools, put them together. Can we go undefeated? Can we win the Super Bowl? We're going to find out. So at quarterback, we got Deshaun Watson, who will be leading the group, Kyler Murray, and Dwayne Haskins. Everyone on this team plays for one of those schools, but it's a tough call. If I was usering, I might defect to Kyler Murray, but for right now, we're going to be rocking and rolling with Deshaun Watson. Plus, I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. Out of the 4 teams that are in the playoffs, I will say Clemson's probably my most favorite. Brian Dawkins went there. I've kind of always been partial to Clemson, especially when it comes to watching ACC football. I do, however, have multiple bets out on Ohio State to win it all. I don't know. I just think they're going to do it. Plus, you know, they have former Philadelphia Eagles QB coach Ryan Day as their offensive genius, now controlling things, taking over for Urban Meyer as head coach. But anyways, back to the roster. Deshaun Watson will be our starter at quarterback. At running back, we got a healthy backfield. We got Ezekiel Elliott from Ohio State and Leonard Fournette. They're going to be our 1-2 punch. To represent Oklahoma, and we had some options here. We could have went maybe Joe Mixon would have been probably the best suited option. But for me, Oklahoma football, it's Adrian Peterson. I think he's the best running back from Oklahoma in the league. And, even though I just have a fond memory of Oklahoma and Boise State in that Fiesta Bowl when AP was actually in school. So I just decided to throw him on the roster. Doesn't really matter. It's going to be Ezekiel Elliott's show. Fullback, we actually got a fullback from Oklahoma, Ripkowski. I think he used to be on the Packers. Wide receiver, we got DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Odell Beckham Jr., Mike Williams, Hollywood Brown, Ted Ginn, and we just got, depth guy here. But my God, I do think we probably will use Hollywood Brown 2 as our wide receiver 4 just to utilize that speed. But it's going to be Odell, Michael Thomas, and DeAndre Hopkins time. At tight end, Mark Andrews is a saving grace. I was like, oh my God, we don't even have a tight end. Then I remembered, oh yeah, Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens went to Oklahoma, because then I was like, oh, right. Not, Clemson's not a tight end school. LSU, I mean, they got Moreau on the Raiders. He was a fairly high pick, but not really known for their talent at tight end. So Mark Andrews is going to have to lead the group. Offensive line looks pretty good. We shuffled some of the players around to get the best starting 5. So we have Orlando Brown out of Oklahoma at left tackle. At left guard, Andrew Norwell from Ohio State. Center, we got Billy Price. I think he was a former first-round pick. Right guard, Lael Collins. And right tackle, Lane Johnson. Flipping to the defense, again, we got a little creative with the front 4. We have Daniil Hunter, who will be our left defensive end. Right defensive end will be Nick Bosa. And the inside, we flip Joey Bosa from D-end, which is where he played for the Chargers. He's 280. He could be a little bit of a hybrid D tackle. And we're going to pair that with Grady Jarrett of the Atlanta Falcons by way of Clemson. That is making up our front 4. Linebackers, we have Devin White, Deion Jones, and Quan Alexander. At secondary, we have Denzel Ward, Tre'Davious White, Marshawn Lattimore. We got Dante Jackson, Greedy Williams, Rashad Robinson. Now, I know we're missing one, even though he's had a bad year. Patrick Peterson's been known for LSU. I just couldn't trade it. He was the only guy I couldn't get with our salary cap issues. And plus, he's not, he wouldn't be playing. He'd be our corner 4. So I thought it wasn't that big of a deal. But also, show some shout out here to Pat Pete. Free safety will be the Honey Badger, who at LSU may be the best defensive player I've seen. He's right up there with, obviously Chase Young this year's been ridiculous. But I think pound for pound, Honey Badger out of LSU might have been the closest thing I've seen since, a Charles Woodson. I wasn't alive when Woodson was doing his thing as a Heisman Trophy winner for Michigan. But anyways, he will be our starting free safety. And at strong safety, we're going to be going with Jamal Adams out of LSU. Special teams, Austin Seibert from Oklahoma, and Bradley Pinion from Clemson. So it's a very good roster from top to bottom. No weaknesses whatsoever. If you had to argue, you could say, You know, the 83 overall at tight end, 65 overall center. But other than that, this team is jacked to the gills. And I mean, I can't predict a record, especially here in Madden franchise. But I would like to think, at worst, this is an 11-win team with a bad sim. So let's find out if we can make a playoff run here with this college football playoff team of all-stars. I hate this. I hate this game so much. We went 8-8. I'm gonna go a little bit behind the curtain here. I had to force that win week 17 over Carolina for us to make the playoffs. We went 8-8 with. So hey, all I'm gonna say is this. They're like, if you're doing a rebuild, right? Like, this is a team of all pros. You're not gonna like get a better team. Look at the 90s across the board. Look at everyone in this, and we barely made the playoffs at 500. So if you know, from all the rebuilds, the countless rebuilds you've seen on my channel, you've seen across YouTube, whatever you watching on Twitch, fine, on Twitch. Like, this needs to get sent to whoever is in control of the sim here in Madden 20. This is literally almost to a point of, I could change the title of this video to, what is the most stacked team I can fit on a salary cap in the NFL? And the answer to that is 8-8. Anyways, we made the playoff. We can go on a run here. Statistically speaking, Deshaun Watson was not very good. We ran the ball acceptable amount. That's a nice year. No one over 1,000 yards, which is not shocking because Madden does not reward talented wide receivers in the sim. So it's very fitting that we have 3 wide receivers over a 90 overall, all of them not going over 1,000 yards in a scheme here in New Orleans. This is a New Orleans scheme that craps out unfair, ridiculous, unrealistic MVPs. How many times in your franchise modes have you seen like Jacoby Brissett before Andrew Luck retired go to the Saints, win the Super Bowl? I mean, anytime any quarterback ever gets drafted by the Saints, they are, you know, going to the Super Bowl, they are winning the MVP. But of course, just not this time. You look at the offense here in the sim, or I mean the sacks. That's actually not too bad. Defensively, Quan Alexander led the team, 109 tackles, 11 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, 2 picks. Sacks were just imagine a defensive front of Joey Bosa, Grady Jarrett, Nick Bosa, and Danielle Hunter getting less than 20 sacks combined. Like, they need to like have a complete overhaul of how this sim works. Like, it's something that gets swept on the rug. It's something that when people talk about and critique franchise mode, they want coaching carousel, realistic AI, all these things. Something that isn't brought up enough is just how unrealistic and unrewarding the Madden sim is. Like, you made a super team like this. Just imagine if you made a team like this and these were the results that you were getting. Like, I would literally be like, what's the point? What is the point of building a dominant roster if you're going to struggle to go 8-8 and you're going to see, oh yeah, Jacoby Brissett, Josh Allen, Mitch Trubisky all have great, Ryan Tannehill all have great years. But no, my super team of freak monsters barely wins the NFC South. I had to cheat, essentially, and force a win over the 7-7-2 Panthers for us to make the playoffs. But we did make the playoffs. Let's stop dwelling on the past year and see if we can go on a run with this team and win a Super Bowl. First up, we have the 8-7-1 New York Giants, and I'm sure that this is going to be embarrassing for the Madden sim. I'm going to go against my better judgment, and we're going to kick things off by just playing the moments. We are a 10-point overall better than the New York Giants. This is a 92 overall versus an 82 overall. These two teams shouldn't even be on the same field. This is like an NFL team versus a CFL team. So how are we gonna get robbed in this one? I'm not gonna be shocked one bit if we just keep going 3 and outs and the Giants score every single drive. They do have Andrew Luck and Saquon Barkley, which is pretty good, but you know, this team here should be shutting it down every single week. Like, this is the greatest team ever assembled, I would argue, in the NFL in terms of pure talent. And I get it's not one on the depth chart. There are plenty of teams that, on paper, look at the Philadelphia Eagles this year, look at the Dallas Cowboys almost every year, that should be way better because of their talent than what their on-field results are. But I mean, come on, there's no injuries. End of game drive. Can we put it away? We're up 4 with 2 minutes to go. Can my 95 overall defense do anything? They cannot. So it's time for It's time for us to come in the game with a minute 43 and see if my 92 overall team can stand a chance against this below or barely at 582 Giants squad.
I'm coming.
Oh, there's a drop by Michael Thomas. Don't see a lot of those. Might as well go to slants, huh? Let's go slants, and we'll see if DeAndre Hopkins can beat. I think that's Jackrabbit. Janoris Jenkins at the top of the route. It's too much, but we just screwed ourselves, I think, because there's a minute 25. There's a minute 25 remaining. That's more than enough time for this below-average Giants team to work my defense, get down the field, and score some points here. Oh, you know what? We might as well come in on the 2. First and goal on the 2. They have no timeouts. You got Saquon Barkley. How else can this end other than me trying not to just rage beyond all rage? And it actually doesn't end up that bad. We get a stand on the final play of the game. Our college football all-stars, luckily, with Andrew Luck going 48% completion, they still put up 23 points. But we luckily move on to the NFC Divisional Round. All right, just witness in case we don't win. All right, we got a 7-point advantage here over the Chicago Bears in the NFC Divisional Round. We have to run the gauntlet because of course we do. But we were able to survive that very dangerous 8-7-1 Giants squad. So let's see what we can do here against a Mitchell Trubisky-led Bears team against a 95 overall defense. I'm sure the results are going to shock you. But we're playing well right now, up to a 14-3 lead. We're scoring on offense. Defense is doing fine. I'm liking this, man. The Bears defense doesn't really have an answer for our squad here. This is what we needed. This is what I should have expected, even more so against the Giants than against a Bears squad. But we're kind of keeping them in it here in the fourth quarter. We're not really killing out the game, but anytime you drop 45, you're going to be happy. But when your 95 overall defense gives up 31, questions are going to be asked, especially with Mitchell Trubisky on a secondary that has Jamal Adams, Honey Badger, Marshawn Lattimore, Tre'Davious White, and Denzel Ward, when Mitchell Trubisky goes for 80% completion percentage, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns. But then again, pretty good defense on the Bears side. And for Deshaun Watson to go 81%, 300 yards, 5 tutties, you know, there's not a whole lot of room to be like, this is ridiculous. But we got the win, and we're moving to the NFC Championship. NFC Championship game going up against Dallas, who's also 8-8. They're an 86 overall, so we're 7 overall points to the good. Really hope we can make the Super Bowl so I can hop in and play. I might actually have to hop in at points in this game in case something ridiculous happens, but I do feel fairly confident that our team can get past Dallas Cowboys. There's no way the Clapper would be able to have a game plan that could go up against a 95 overall defense, right? Or is Dak Prescott going to have the greatest game of his career and just skunk us? But we're tied at 14 apiece here into the second half. We're moving the ball fairly well. I want to see this team just shut it down. Start playing to your potential here in the fourth quarter. Put this game away. Up 14, 3 minutes to go. Third down alert. Oh, yes. Kick the field goal. This game is over. Of course, Dallas would score an instant touchdown to make me furious, but I'm not going to rage. I'll take this win. We're going to the Super Bowl. 256 yards, 3 touchdowns for Deshaun Watson, over 100 yards for Zeke. This is a Dallas that is less in Ezekiel Elliott, and they still did this. But either way, we found ourselves into the Super Bowl, and I get to hop in and finally utilize this team. Okay, Leonard Fournette showing off the mitts out the backfield, getting the touchdown. Kind of surprising, but I'll take it. We're bringing the Mack truck, Leonard Fournette. Second touchdown of the game. Patriots do not have an answer for his power. Mark Andrews beats the safety. There's a flag on the play. I think it's pass interference. It's probably holding. And it's holding. Touchdown comes back. Oh, there we go, OBJ. OBJ does something ridiculous when he's not trying and complaining to get out of Cleveland. He's actually a pretty good playmaker. That was a great broken ankles play by him. First and goal on the 6. Reads are going to be DeAndre Hopkins and Ezekiel Elliott. Hopkins gets open, and he fights to the 1. Okay. I think we might be actually, if we go C4 special, which we've yet to run today, I think that's Fournette. So we can get him the hat trick, and he might be able to steal the Super Bowl MVP from Deshaun Watson if he can get it. Deshaun Watson's been very good, but I think Mr. Fournette gets to the outside, blocked up very well for the hat trick here in the Super Bowl. Let's take one more shot at the end zone for the end of the game, running the score up to make it look more reflective of what it should be. So there you go. 38-14. I mean, if we had to argue what's one team that could go up against a super team made up of players from Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and LSU and keep it close in a Super Bowl, it will be Bill Belichick and that New England Patriots team. But it's just too little too late. And I'm glad that when all said and done, ignoring what happened in the regular season, ignoring what happened in the wild card game against a very bad Giants team, it still got the given result that I hope you guys expected when you clicked the video. Hope it's what I expected when I thought of doing something like this. And that is this team of All-Stars, the 2019-2020 College Football Playoff All-Star NFL squad, was able to win the Super Bowl here in Madden. It wasn't easy. Of course it couldn't be easy, because that is Madden franchise in a nutshell. But when all is said and done, Deshaun Watson, Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette with his 3 touchdowns, OBJ, Mike Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Mark Andrews. Pretty good job from the offense. Defense with the Bosas, Daniil Hunter, Deion Jones, Devin White, the LSU boys, as Deshaun Watson wins your MVP. A combination, Trey White, Denzel Ward, Marshawn Lattimore, Honey Badger, Jamal Adams. On the defensive side, they were able to get the job done. Push comes to shove, they got the job done. Deshaun Watson led his group to a Super Bowl title. Now, does that mean that just by this snare, is Clemson, because Deshaun Watson did it, is Clemson going to win the college football playoff? I would say right now, like I said, I want to hear what you guys feel about this game coming up. I'm kind of pulling for Clemson. I put money on Ohio State. I mean, LSU, I'm a Gator fan. It's within the SEC. I don't hate LSU, but pretty much anyone but Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not a very good team, and I don't even hate Oklahoma either. So I mean, it's pretty neutral. I'm glad that generally there's no Alabama, but like I said, I'm pulling for Clemson, I guess. But I got a lot of money on Ohio State, so that would be nice if that can come through. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Maybe we'll start doing more of these kind of more realistic challenges. Like, I'm not going to just do, challenges that make no sense whatsoever to do, or experiments or whatever. But any suggestions like that, let me know in the comment section below, and we can take a look at it. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.